Hey, what's up? Joe in Vegas here with another review. Last night I went to go see, believe it or not, the Jonas Brothers here in Las Vegas. You know, a really important part of concert going, if you do it on a regular basis, that no one really talks about is the idea of taking one for the team. So usually, and at least in my case, it's for sure, you know, depending on who you go to a show with, whether, you know, if you go actively to shows, you generally either go with friends, a girlfriend, or a spouse. That's usually the group. And every now and then, you know, you can get your way a lot of the times, but every now and then a show's going to pop up and you have to take one for the team. You drag people to a lot of the shows you want to go to that they don't necessarily want to go to. And sometimes the shoe is on the other foot and you have to suck it up and you have to go to a show because either your girlfriend, spouse, friends, they want to go see something that you don't want to go to. This was 100% the case for me last night. I've done it in the past, but, you know, Jonas Brothers is not on my top of the list of bands I would run to see. I can honestly tell you, well, at least before last night, I did not think I knew a single song. Usually you know something from the radio, but I couldn't name, gun to my head, I couldn't name one Jonas Brothers song. But taking one for the team, I said, fine, let's do it, let's go. And it'll be interesting. It's kind of fun sometimes to walk into a show not knowing what to expect. And they surprised. And that's one of the cool parts about taking one for the team is you don't know who's going to blow you away. And you have zero expectations. You actually have low expectations. So sometimes it really works out well. And that was the case last night. I really enjoyed this show. Really enjoyed it. So let's start with the set list. Apparently they do different set lists every night, which is respectable. That's kind of cool. It's not something you would. The two things that surprised me about them were, you know, I thought it was one of these dancing boy bands. I did. I'm just being honest. I thought it was one of these like Backstreet Boys and New Kids on the Block where they have their little dances and they do their dances. So that wasn't the case. So right there, they won me over with that. They're pretty talented kids. They all play their instruments. They have great voices. The singing bounces around. But, you know, it wasn't one of those, they were all wearing the same outfit and doing these dances that they've been doing for 20 years to the same songs. They were rocking out. I'll give them credit. So that surprised me. And the other thing that surprised me, which they said, is that they change the set list every night, which also is really respectable. You would think these kind of cookie cutter, I mean, after last night, I wouldn't put them in the boy band category, which I used to. They would have just the same show every night, really manufactured, simple, basic stuff, and not. They changed it up. I looked at the set list before I went in, and it was a different show. So the set list it starts with Leave Before You Love Me, a Marshmello and Jonas Brothers cover. Then they did Only Human. That's the Way We Roll. Burning Up, What a Man Gotta Do. Remember This, Much Better. By the way, let me stop and say one thing, too. One of the cool parts that I really enjoyed this show, the energy was off the charts. Oh, I can't think of rock shows that had this kind of energy from the first, not even the first note. It was even when the lights were on and people were coming to the seat. Two of the Jonas Brothers, I learned last night, were married to famous actresses. And one of the actresses, I forgot her name, something with a P. She's Indian, I think. She was walking to her little VIP table, and somebody saw her and started screaming, and that section started screaming, and then two sections over started screaming, and before you knew it, the whole fucking place was just screaming at the top of their lungs like Elvis just walked into the building. Right there, I'm like, whoa, this is a fan base. These kids are loyal. Signs, you could feel the energy even before it started. And once it started, the energy went to a 10, and it did not go up. Maybe it dropped to 9.5, but it stayed almost at that 10 level for the whole show. So it's infectious. That's a good word to describe this show. I found it very infectious. It's hard to hate anybody or dislike anything when there's probably 4,000 people in that place. I don't know how big it is, that are losing their mind excited. I wasn't, but it's like you get infected by it. You get like pumped up by it, and it was cool, and it was very cool. So anyway, Remember This, Much Better. I don't know for the next one. I don't know. They kind of said they described it kind of as something that either rarely happens or never happens. But they brought their father on stage, which I thought was really cool. They brought out a piano and they did Rocket Man. The father sang a little bit. He played piano. Talented guy. You kind of can see where the kids got their musical abilities and taste from, but definitely from the father. So I thought that was a nice treat. That was the one song right there. I'm like, hey, I know this fucking song. It's an Elton John song. So I was happy right there. At least I got one song that I knew. Then Fly With Me, Good Night and Goodbye, Just Friends, Hold a Breath. I'm sorry, Take a Breath, and then Hold On, SOS. And then they went into some of the covers, and I was explained these were kind of, they all did a little solo projects here and there. So these were some of the stuff they did, which was cool. I thought that'd be cool that they gave that to their fans. They did Close, Nick Jonas song. Then they did Toothbrush with, I don't know how you pronounce it. I don't know if it's Dance or DNCE. Then they did Jealous. I actually recognized that song from the radio. I did not know that was Nick Jonas. So that was cool. And then they did this one, which I totally knew, which was Cake by the Ocean, also a dance song. And then Gotta Find You, which was a Joe Jonas song. Then they did I Believe. Then they did Love Bug, and then they did the last song, which I actually knew. I didn't know I knew any Jonas Brothers song, but it was Sucker. I actually recognized that from the radio or from TV or movies or wherever the hell it was from. 22 songs, full set list, start to finish. They brought it. I'll give them credit. The energy was great. They are talented guys, smiling, happy. It was fun. It felt like a 2-hour dance party. It just felt, man. You know, I do it at every show. I stop somewhere in there and I take my eyes off the stage for probably 5 minutes and I look around the crowd. I turn to my right, I turn to my left, I turn behind me, and I look at people because it's so important. What music does to people is fucking awesome. And you go to some shows, and some shows everybody are just sitting down and they have tears in their eyes, and it's an emotional gut check for some shows. You know, ballads, who was it? Like a good example, like Sarah McLachlan. I went to that show. You could hear a pin drop. It was so emotionally gut-wrenching, but she had everybody like puppets, like just tied in. This type of show, everybody was on their feet. Everybody was dancing. These girls had tears in their eyes of joy. You look down in the pit, it looked like a Metallica concert, but it wasn't moshing. It was they were doing like a conga line in a circle. Like everybody was just having fun. And this world is fucking miserable lately. And it's so nice, even if you don't know the music. And it's not bad music. It's good. They were good. Surprisingly good. You walk into this bubble for a few hours. I always say this about concerts. For 2 fucking hours, you're not looking at your phone and you're not looking at the news and you're not looking at anything. You're just having fun, and you need it. We need music more than ever in this world that's so shitty. I don't know what else the word is. It's harsh. It's angry. It's anger. It's just, ugh, especially now with the politics. So you need bands like this. You need shows. You need fun places to go and escape the world, and this was perfect. It was just perfect. I didn't know a single I knew some song. I didn't know I knew a single song. I didn't think I'd know a single song, but I knew 3 or 4 songs. But I was able to really, really enjoy myself, and I got to give it up for them. They're doing a residency here. I think they're doing another show tonight. He made a comment that they'll be back, so I think they're going to be a staple here in Vegas, which is great. And you could tell most of those people that were there were probably going to all 2 or 3 shows. Awesome show. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give him an 8.9 out of 10. Shockingly. I can't believe it, but I got to be honest. My friends were laughing at me when I told them I went to Jonas Brothers, and I said, fuck off. I had a great time. I really had a great time, and I would go see him again in a heartbeat. Ticket value was totally worth it. You know, to give you an example, we were going to go to Post Malone, actually. That was right across the street of T-Mobile. The cheapest tickets all the way up top behind the fucking stage were like $300 a ticket. It was ridiculous. I don't know how people pay that for. I mean, I guess if you're a diehard fan, you can pay it, but you know, your average person versus this, I think my tickets were $60, and it was great. It was great. So great value for the money. Great show. Even if tickets were a little expensive, I highly recommend it. 8.9 out of 10. Thanks for listening. Subscribe, comment if you've seen them, if you like them, if you don't like them, leave it in the comments. I'm always curious to read what people think and how, you know, far I am off of what I am. I am a non-fan, and I gave this show an 8.9 because I became a fan. They made me a fan, and that's awesome. That's what's supposed to go. Thanks for listening. I'll see you at the next show. Bye-bye.